peace and grace over your heart. Beloved, you are not here by accident. You are not hearing this message by coincidence. This moment is intentional. This moment is aligned. This moment is divine. Because what you are about to hear carries weight. It carries revelation. It carries clarity for the season you are stepping into. A season where the person connected to your destiny is getting ready to make a public move that will shift the direction of your love story. I want you to breathe for a moment. Put your shoulders down. Release the tension you've been carrying. Because many of you have been walking around with questions in your mind, restlessness in your spirit, a quiet pull in your heart, something telling you that change is near, that something is unfolding around your life even if you can't put language to it yet. You have felt it. You have sensed it. You have noticed your emotions tightening and loosening at the same time. You have noticed your dreams feeling more real. You have noticed your intuition rising. You have noticed your heart preparing for something you can't explain. This is not random. This is not a fantasy. This is not wishful thinking. This is alignment. Your soulmate is stepping into a season of clarity, a season of courage, a season of conviction. And what has been private in their heart is about to become public in their actions. For some of you, this public move will look like a conversation. For others, it will look like a bold shift. For others, it will be a declaration. For some, it will be a choice. But no matter the form it takes, the energy behind it will be the same. Certainty. They are stepping into a moment where hiding their feelings no longer feels natural, where silence no longer feels safe, where holding back no longer feels like obedience. They are starting to sense purpose pulling them forward. They are beginning to recognize your presence in their future. They are awakening to something divine inside themselves, and heaven is giving them the courage to act. This message is here to prepare you, to steady you, to align you, to soften your heart where fear has tried to harden it, to strengthen your spirit where doubt has tried to weaken it. And before we go deeper, I want to speak to those of you who keep coming back to this channel. Some of you watch every video. Some of you never miss a word. And some of you watch silently without subscribing. So hear me with love and authority. If these teachings have been speaking to you, if they have helped your healing, if they've strengthened your worth, if they've grounded your spirit, if they've given you clarity when your heart was confused, then subscribe now. Join this family. Turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming. Because the next season of your life is too important for you to walk through without guidance, clarity, and spiritual alignment. And when you subscribe, you're not joining a channel. You're joining a community of people choosing healing over fear, purpose over patterns, destiny over desperation. This message will carry 7 deep revelations, 7 strategic truths, 7 powerful alignments that will help you understand what is shifting around your love story. Stay with me until the end. Let this message sit in your spirit. Let it prepare your heart for the public move that is about to unfold. Because your soulmate is awakening. Their courage is rising. Their clarity is forming. And their next step is going to change everything. Let's begin. Number 1. Your soulmate has reached a point of inner certainty that can no longer stay hidden. 700 words. There comes a moment in every destiny connection where silence becomes too heavy to carry, and clarity becomes too strong to ignore. Your soulmate has reached that moment. Not out of pressure. Not out of impulse. Not out of fantasy. but out of inner certainty that has been building layer by layer inside them. This is the kind of certainty that grows quietly, the kind of certainty that forms in private moments, the kind that shapes itself through reflection, growth, and awakening. They have been wrestling with thoughts they cannot push away, feelings they can no longer suppress, truths they can no longer pretend not to see. Something inside them has stabilized. Something has clicked. Something has aligned. And you are at the center of that alignment. This is important because for a long time they were unsure of themselves, unsure of their readiness, unsure of their emotions, unsure of their capacity to love at the level their soul desired. They questioned their timing. They questioned their history. They questioned whether they had healed enough. And in some seasons they questioned if they were worthy of a love that carried purpose. But recently something shifted. Their self-awareness has increased. Their emotional clarity has strengthened. Their internal hesitation has weakened. They are beginning to understand who they are becoming. And because of that, they are beginning to understand who you are to them. This is why their next move will be public. When a person reaches inner certainty, their actions naturally become bold. Their choices become deliberate. Their communication becomes honest. Their energy becomes steady. They are no longer making decisions from insecurity. They are no longer acting from fear. They are no longer guarding themselves out of past wounds. Their heart is positioning itself for truth. And truth always reveals itself publicly when it is mature. Your soulmate has entered a season of maturity. A season where hiding no longer feels right. A season where silence feels like disobedience to their own spirit. A season where stepping forward is the only path that aligns with who they are becoming. This is the kind of maturity that creates action. Not private feelings. Not quiet admiration. Not internal conflict. But visible, intentional movement. Their heart has been shifting. Their mind has been catching up. Their spirit has been awakening. And together these three forces have created certainty. They no longer want to observe you from a distance. They no longer want to imagine what could be. They no longer want to keep their heart on pause. They are ready to take responsibility for their feelings. Responsibility for their desire. Responsibility for the clarity that has been sitting in their spirit for too long. And this responsibility is leading them toward a public step. A declaration. A gesture. A choice. Something undeniable. Something you will not have to guess. Something you will not have to decode. Something you will not have to question. When a person is uncertain, you feel it in their hesitation. When a person is confused, you feel it in their inconsistency. When a person is unhealed, you feel it in their distance. But when a person is certain, you feel it in their clarity. Your soulmate is stepping into clarity. Not just emotional clarity, but spiritual clarity, identity clarity, life path clarity. They are beginning to see that their future feels more right with you in it. They are beginning to understand that their peace increases when they think of you. Their vision expands when they picture life aligned with you. Their heart softens when they imagine choosing you intentionally. Their purpose feels stronger when they consider partnership with you. This is why they cannot hide this any longer. Certainty demands expression. Clarity demands movement. Alignment demands visibility. They are ready to show it. Ready to say it. Ready to stand in it. Ready to move publicly in a way that reflects where their heart already is privately. What comes next is not subtle. It is not halfway. It is not a breadcrumb. It is a step that will leave no question in your mind. Because when certainty reaches maturity, it becomes visible. And your soulmate has reached that stage. This is the beginning of the shift. This is the beginning of their boldness. This is the beginning of the public move that will change everything. Number 2. Your soulmate is being spiritually prompted to bring your connection into the light. There are moments in life when God stops whispering and begins nudging. Moments when the Spirit presses so deeply into a person's heart that ignoring it creates more discomfort than obeying it. Your soulmate has entered that exact season. They are not simply thinking about you. They are being spiritually pulled toward a decision, a declaration, a movement forward that is no longer optional for them spiritually. This is no longer about preference. This is about obedience. This is about alignment. This is about answering the pull of destiny that has been hovering over their life. For months, maybe years, they have kept their feelings private, guarded, contained, manageable. But when God is ready to bring a connection into the light, He begins stirring the heart in a way the mind cannot silence. That is what your soulmate is experiencing. Their dreams are shifting. Their intuition is intensifying. Their peace is speaking louder. Their restlessness is increasing whenever they resist the pull. They are having realizations they cannot explain. Moments of clarity they cannot unsee. Signs they cannot deny. This is where spiritual prompting becomes powerful. When the Spirit speaks. When the heart knows. When the timing aligns. There is no more hiding. Your soulmate has reached the point where stepping forward is not just a desire. It is an internal command. They are feeling a pressure that is not from fear, not from anxiety, not from confusion, but from divine timing. God is pushing them to bring what has been private into the light. Because revelation must eventually become manifestation. Spiritual connection must eventually become relational expression. What God ordains in secret eventually becomes visible in the natural. They are in that transitional moment. The moment where the unseen becomes seen. This is why the public move is coming. Because God is done letting them analyze. God is done letting them delay. God is done letting them run from what their soul already knows. This is divine timing at work. And divine timing brings two things. Clarity, courage. Your soulmate is receiving both. Clarity is telling them, this is the one connected to your destiny. Courage is telling them, stop hiding what is meant to be honored. God is calling them out of secrecy, out of fear, out of self-protection, out of emotional isolation, out of the patterns that kept them distant or hesitant. Their spirit is maturing. Their faith is growing. Their heart is aligning. Their vision is shifting toward partnership instead of self-preservation. This moment is sacred. Because this is no longer about romance. This is about purpose. God is positioning them to step into the next chapter of their life. And that chapter requires partnership, not isolation. Communication, not withdrawal. Visibility, not hiding. This is why the move will be public. When God elevates something, He does it in the open. He blesses what is brought into the light. He honors boldness. He responds to alignment. Your soulmate is beginning to understand something they couldn't see before. That hiding a blessing is the quickest way to lose it. That suppressing truth leads to spiritual discomfort. That delaying divine timing creates emotional torment. That keeping you in the dark is out of alignment with God's intention. So now the Spirit is nudging them. Push, move, speak, reveal, honor what God has placed in your heart. This is why they feel the internal pull that won't go away. This is why they feel the pressure to act. This is why they feel the weight of silence. Because their spirit knows the truth. Their soul recognizes the connection. And heaven is stepping in to make sure they don't miss it. This connection is not meant to stay hidden. It has purpose. It has impact. It has divine assignment. It carries generational significance. God is calling them to move publicly. Because your connection is meant to be witnessed, respected, honored, protected, and elevated. When a soulmate connection is spiritually activated, it stops being a private feeling. It becomes a divine responsibility. Your soulmate is awakening to that responsibility. And the move they are about to make is not just emotional. It is spiritual. It is obedient. It is divinely guided. And when they obey, everything shifts. Number 3. Your soulmate is about to step into the kind of boldness they once feared. There comes a moment in every divinely orchestrated connection when fear loses its power. When hesitation breaks. When the walls a person has carried for years begin to crumble under the weight of truth. Your soulmate has entered that moment. For so long they lived in self-protection mode. Not because they didn't feel. Not because they didn't care. But because boldness felt dangerous to them. Too raw. Too vulnerable. Too exposing. And boldness requires something they didn't always have. Emotional courage. Self-awareness. Healing. Readiness. And a willingness to be seen. Your soulmate is being pushed into that level of visibility. Not by pressure. Not by fear. But by divine timing and internal transformation. They are outgrowing their old patterns. Their old fears. Their old silence. Their old ways of holding back. Their old habits of staying safe instead of stepping forward. For years they believed boldness was a risk. Now they are learning boldness is obedience. This connection is requiring them to evolve, to rise, to mature emotionally, to take spiritual responsibility for what they feel. God will always stretch the one who is meant to love you properly. Because loving you requires them to access parts of themselves they used to avoid. Parts they buried. Parts they numbed. Parts they were afraid to reveal. But when God prepares someone for a soulmate connection, He does not ask them to stay the same. He grows them. He deepens them. He stretches them. He reforms them. That is what is happening inside them. They are feeling the shift. Feeling the upgrade. Feeling the courage that wasn't there before. It is subtle but strong. Quiet but undeniable. Gentle but persistent. They feel a push toward you. A pull to reach out. A desire to take the lead in a way they once resisted. A readiness to bring clarity where confusion used to live. A willingness to take action where passivity once controlled them. This boldness is unfamiliar to them. It may even scare them. But it is also empowering them. Because they are finally realizing something crucial. Connections like this do not come twice. Destiny does not repeat itself. Divine alignment does not stay open forever. They feel the urgency. Not the desperate kind. But the purposeful kind. The kind that says, it's time to show up. It's time to speak. It's time to act. Their heart is stepping into a version of themselves they long avoided. A version that chooses action over fear. Truth over silence. courage over hiding. For years they let fear shape their decisions. Fear of rejection. Fear of inadequacy. Fear of failure. Fear of choosing wrong. Fear of losing control. But fear is breaking. And what is taking its place is clarity. They are beginning to see themselves differently. See love differently. See you differently. See the future differently. This boldness isn't impulsive. It is prepared. It is intentional. It is spiritually grounded. This is not the kind of boldness that leads to chaos. This is the kind that leads to alignment. When a person steps into boldness at the right time, everything inside them upgrades. Their mindset, their emotional maturity, their capacity to love, their ability to communicate. Their spirit is rising into a version of themselves that is capable of sustaining a divine connection. They know they cannot love you from the shadows. They know they cannot choose you from a distance. They know they cannot step into destiny while hiding behind fear. They know this connection requires boldness. And despite everything they used to run from, they are now running toward what is meant for them. This is why you will see movement. This is why you will hear from them. This is why the shift feels close. This is why your spirit feels the pull. Because their spirit is rising to meet yours. Boldness always precedes breakthrough. Their breakthrough is unfolding. Their courage is activating. Their heart is maturing. Their spirit is aligning. And the public move they are about to make will be the clearest evidence that fear no longer owns them. Number 4. Your soulmate is being positioned to honor you publicly, not privately. One of the clearest signs that a soulmate connection is maturing is when someone shifts from private intention to public alignment, from quiet feelings to visible action, from internal awareness to external acknowledgement. This is the season your soulmate is stepping into, a season where their actions will match their heart. Their clarity will match their emotions. Their integrity will match their intentions. For a long time they kept their feelings guarded. Not because they wanted to hide you. Not because their interest was weak. But because their readiness was still forming. Public love requires an internal foundation. And they were still building theirs. Before God allows a connection to become visible, He requires that it becomes rooted, stable, aligned, intentional, purposeful. Your soulmate has been in that process, growing quietly, healing privately, learning how to express themselves without fear, learning how to love without self-sabotage, learning how to commit without running, learning how to choose without confusion. That is why this moment is so important, because the shift from private to public is not random. It is spiritual alignment made visible. There comes a moment when a person realizes that hiding what matters only delays what is meant. That silence creates distance. That fear keeps love stuck. That secrecy slows destiny. Your soulmate is crossing that threshold. They have reached the point where their spirit can no longer tolerate holding back, where their heart can no longer accept being passive, where their future is pulling them forward. They are being positioned to honor you, to acknowledge you, to choose you in a way that is visible, confident, unashamed, clear. When someone honors you publicly, they are not seeking attention. They are establishing alignment. They are saying, "This is where my heart stands. This is who I value. This is who I am walking with." It is a declaration, a decision, a spiritual announcement, a step into maturity. Your soulmate is preparing for that step. This shift didn't happen overnight. It has been forming for a while. Silently, internally, deeply, they have been examining their life, reevaluating their relationships, cutting ties that drain them, separating from patterns that sabotage them, healing wounds that made them hesitant. All of this was necessary, because someone who is still entangled cannot honor you openly. Someone who still fears judgment cannot protect a divine connection. Someone who still tolerates confusion cannot offer clarity. Your soulmate is being elevated to a place where they can stand beside you, not as someone who is unsure, not as someone who hides, not as someone who hesitates, but as someone who is ready to commit with integrity. Public acknowledgement is a sign of maturity, a sign of readiness, a sign of clarity, a sign of spiritual alignment. Your soulmate is stepping into that level of maturity, not because of pressure, but because destiny requires it. The love forming between you is not meant to stay private forever. It is meant to be established, recognized, protected, honored, and in the spirit. Doors are opening for them. Strength is rising within them. Courage is taking root. Their vision is clearing. Their heart is aligning. Their steps are being ordered. They are preparing to express what they once only felt, to say what they once only thought, to act on what they once only imagined, to stand in what they once only hoped for. They are realizing that their future requires authenticity, and authenticity requires visibility. This is why you will begin to notice signs: more openness, more vulnerability, more communication, more intentionality, more certainty. These are the indicators that a public shift is near. Your soulmate is not preparing to embarrass you, confuse you, or keep you hidden. They are preparing to honor you, choose you, and align with you in a way that is visible to others. Not for validation, but for clarity. Not for attention, but for intention. Not for an audience, but for alignment. Because love that is meant to last does not live in the shadows. And your soulmate is stepping out of the shadows, into the light, into alignment, into visibility. The public move they are about to make will not just change your relationship. It will change your confidence, your clarity, your sense of direction, your understanding of how deeply God has been guiding this. Number 5. Your soulmate is about to break a pattern that has been blocking love for years. Every soulmate connection has a turning point, a moment where something deep inside a person breaks open. Old patterns fall apart. Old fears lose power. Old cycles finally collapse. Your soulmate is standing in that exact moment right now. A moment where they can no longer live the way they used to. A moment where the discomfort of staying the same has become greater than the fear of changing. A moment where their spirit is rising higher than their habits. For years they carried a pattern that worked against their own desire for love. Maybe it was emotional distance. Maybe it was fear of commitment. Maybe it was choosing people who were wrong for them. Maybe it was pushing away what they wanted most. Maybe it was hiding instead of expressing. Maybe it was waiting instead of acting. Whatever the pattern was, it kept them stuck. It kept them confused. It kept them inconsistent. It kept them unavailable in ways you could feel even without being told. But that pattern is being confronted, dismantled, exposed, and broken, not by force, not by pressure, but by clarity, by spiritual awakening, by divine timing. Your soulmate has reached the internal moment where the truth becomes louder than their excuses, where their heart becomes stronger than their fear, where their desire for real love overpowers their instinct for self-protection. This is why they are restless. This is why they are thinking deeply. This is why their emotions feel sharper. This is why their dreams are shifting. This is why their spirit is stirring. They are awakening to the realization that if they do not change now, they will lose something sacred, something rare, something they cannot duplicate with another person. Your presence, your energy, your connection, your alignment. It has triggered transformation, not manipulation, not pressure, transformation. You woke something up inside them, not because you forced anything, but because your spirit and theirs are aligned in a way that demands growth. This is what soulmate connections do. They expose the parts you must transform. They illuminate the places you've been avoiding. They press you into emotional maturity. They force you to confront yourself. They pull you into purpose. Your soulmate is going through this right now, and it's intense for them. They are breaking patterns that once defined them, patterns that once controlled them, patterns that once shaped every romantic decision they made. Let me tell you something important. Pattern breaking is one of the strongest signs of readiness. When someone stops repeating the cycles that destroyed their last relationships, they are preparing for something divine. When someone stops choosing temporary comfort, they are preparing for longevity. When someone stops avoiding vulnerability, they are preparing for real intimacy. When someone confronts their emotional fears, they are preparing for partnership. When someone breaks the habits that once sabotaged everything, they are preparing to love with clarity and intention. Your soulmate is being refined. And this refinement is what will lead them toward a bold public move. Because once a pattern breaks, freedom rises, courage grows, vision expands, desire becomes clear, action becomes obvious. They will no longer hide their feelings. They will no longer isolate themselves. They will no longer pretend they don't care. They will no longer avoid the responsibility of love. They are stepping into a version of themselves that you will recognize immediately. A version that is open, clear, emotionally present, more grounded, more expressive, more consistent. This shift is not small. It's not subtle. It's not temporary. It is permanent. It is transformative. It is spiritual. And this transformation is necessary. Because the love that is coming into your life requires a healed version of them. A mature version. A present version. A version that can honor you, protect you, choose you, and walk beside you without fear. They are being shaped into that version right now. Some of you have been saying, I can feel a change but I can't explain it. I sense something shifting in them. It feels like they're waking up. It feels like they're coming closer. You're right. Because you can feel the pattern breaking in their spirit. When the pattern breaks, the hesitation breaks, the avoidance breaks, the silence breaks, the confusion breaks, the fear breaks, the distance breaks, clarity rises, courage rises, Intention rises. Commitment rises. Love rises. What's coming next is not accidental. It's the natural result of spiritual transformation. Your soulmate is stepping into the kind of maturity that makes their next move bold, clear, decisive, and public. Number 6. Your soulmate is being pulled into full alignment, and alignment always brings visible action. There comes a moment in every God-aligned love story where the internal shift is no longer enough. Where the thoughts they've been wrestling with must become decisions. Where the feelings they've been carrying must become movement. Where the spiritual pull on their heart becomes too strong to ignore. Your soulmate has reached that moment. They are entering a season of full alignment. And alignment is not emotional. Alignment is not impulsive. Alignment is not accidental. Alignment is spiritual order, mental clarity, emotional grounding, a merging of intention and readiness. Alignment is when everything inside a person begins to point in the same direction. Their mind agrees with their heart. Their spirit agrees with their desire. Their actions agree with their purpose. Their future agrees with their present. This is what's happening to your soulmate. Piece by piece. Layer by layer. Step by step. They are being aligned with the version of themselves that is capable of loving you the right way. Not the broken version. Not the fearful version. Not the confused version. Not the distracted version. The aligned version. The mature version. The healed version. The version that is emotionally awake and spiritually anchored. Alignment always brings clarity. And clarity always brings movement. This is why you feel the shift. Why your spirit senses something approaching. Why your emotions have become more sensitive. Why your dreams feel more vivid. Why your energy feels like it's preparing for something. Because alignment doesn't just happen to one person. It affects both ends of a divine connection. The more aligned they become, the more aligned you become. The more aligned you become, the closer the connection moves toward manifestation. Your soulmate is stepping into a new rhythm. A new sense of responsibility, a new level of honesty with themselves, a new awareness of what they want, a new commitment to alignment rather than avoidance. There was a time when they tolerated confusion. Not anymore. There was a time when they let distractions disconnect them from what they truly desired. Not anymore. There was a time when fear had the final say. Not anymore. Alignment has taken over, and alignment does not negotiate with fear. It eliminates it. Alignment does not partner with doubt. It corrects it. Alignment does not tolerate hesitation. It strengthens commitment. Your soulmate is thinking clearly in a way they weren't before. They can see who drains them, who confuses them, who distracts them, who slows their growth, who interrupts their peace, and they can see who brings clarity, who brings grounding, who awakens purpose, who activates their spirit, who aligns with their calling. This clarity is forming the foundation of their next move. Alignment always forces a person to make decisions they used to avoid. Let go of what used to comfort them. Walk away from what used to distract them. End relationships that kept them small. Cut off situations that kept them emotionally unavailable. You are not dealing with their old self anymore. You are dealing with someone whose spirit is rising. Someone who is choosing purpose over fear. Someone who is choosing truth over escape. Someone who is choosing alignment over chaos. This alignment is preparing them to step toward you in a way that is visible, intentional, and undeniable. They are beginning to understand something powerful. Divine connections require action, not fantasy, not hope, not silent longing, not private desire, but action. And action requires alignment. This is why their next move will be public. When someone becomes aligned spiritually, they stop hiding what God is revealing. They stop minimizing what they feel. They stop protecting themselves from their own destiny. They stop pretending they're not ready when they are. Alignment compels visibility. Your soulmate is stepping into the kind of emotional clarity that says, I don't want to lose what is meant for me. I don't want to stay stuck where I was. I don't want to live in fear anymore. I don't want to wait for a better moment that never comes. They are rising into a version of themselves that honors love instead of resisting it, honors truth instead of avoiding it, honors destiny instead of delaying it. The same spiritual force that woke you up is waking them up. The same alignment that pulled your spirit forward is pulling theirs forward. Two souls being aligned by the same divine hand will always find each other, will always take action, will always create forward movement. Their alignment is not random. It is the preparation for the public declaration that is getting closer. The move that will shift everything. The moment that will finally confirm what your spirit has felt for months. Number 7. Your soulmate is about to take a public step toward you because alignment always demands evidence. There comes a moment in divine alignment when private conviction must become public action. Your soulmate has reached that threshold. They can no longer stay silent about what their heart knows. They can no longer hide the truth that keeps rising inside them. They can no longer pretend they are unsure. Alignment has pulled them too far to turn back. They are stepping into a boldness they once avoided, a courage they once suppressed, a clarity they once doubted. Now everything in their spirit is moving in one direction, towards you. They are beginning to feel a holy pressure. Not the pressure of fear, the pressure of truth, the pressure of destiny, the pressure of knowing exactly what they want. This pressure is not heavy. It is guiding. It is steady. It is undeniable. Your soulmate has entered the stage of alignment where silence becomes impossible. When alignment deepens, a person can no longer hide their feelings. They can no longer stay in the shadows. They can no longer hold back the love that has been growing quietly. This is why their next move will be visible. You will not have to guess. You will not have to decode mixed messages. You will not have to wonder. Their actions will stand in the open. Because alignment always demands evidence. Your soulmate is waking up to the truth that divine love requires movement, not overthinking, not fear-based delay, not emotional hiding, but movement that matches the connection they feel. They are stepping into a phase where their spirit says, I refuse to lose what God is giving me. I refuse to stay attached to what drains me. I refuse to stay silent about what is real. I refuse to let fear write the future I want. Their spirit is rising with a new kind of strength. A strength that clears out distractions. A strength that exposes fake connections. A strength that removes false attachments. A strength that highlights purpose. And you are part of that purpose. Your soulmate is also seeing something clearly. Every place they stayed too long. Every person they gave too much to. Every situation that pulled them away from their path. These have become empty to them. Because alignment closes doors that no longer match their destiny. They feel the separation. They feel the shift. They feel the space opening. This space is not loss. It is preparation. It is making room for the love they are meant to step toward. They are getting ready to take a step you cannot miss. A step that shows maturity. A step that shows emotional readiness. A step that shows intentional commitment. This step might be a direct message, a phone call, a plan to see you, a confession, a decision to move closer, a choice to end old cycles. When alignment reaches this level, action becomes the only option. Your soulmate has entered a new level of honesty with themselves. They can no longer lie about what they want. They can no longer pretend they are not ready. They can no longer sit in fear. They can no longer delay what is meant. Their clarity is becoming a countdown. Their courage is becoming a doorway. Their alignment is becoming momentum. And this momentum is pulling them straight toward you. The connection between you is strengthening. Not because of fantasy, but because both souls are aligning to the same truth. You are feeling the same pull. You are sensing the same rise. Your heart is waking up in the same rhythm. Divine connections always create synchronized alignment. Two hearts rising at the same pace. Two spirits preparing at the same time. Two paths clearing in the same direction. Your soulmate is now at the point where alignment demands action. A point where love can no longer stay private. A point where destiny requires visibility. A point where the truth in their spirit becomes too strong to hide. Their next move will reveal everything. No confusion. No mixed signals. No more waiting without direction. You are moving toward a moment that shifts the entire connection. A moment that confirms everything you have been sensing. A moment that brings clarity where there was uncertainty. A moment that changes the path in front of you. There comes a point in every divine connection when what has been building in silence must reveal itself in the open. Your soulmate has reached that point. Their alignment, their clarity, their emotional grounding, and their spiritual awakening have all been preparing them for one final step. A public one. A visible one. A move that does not hide, question, or confuse. A move that changes everything. This is the moment when internal conviction becomes external commitment. Your soulmate is no longer wrestling with the same fears that once held them back. They are not caught in a cycle of hesitation or doubt. They have walked through their own healing, faced their own shadows, and allowed their mind, heart, and spirit to fall into harmony. That alignment has set a foundation under them. A foundation strong enough to carry the weight of a real future. A future that points directly to you. Their public move will not come from impulse. It will come from truth. Truth that has been rising in them for months. Truth that has reshaped how they see their life. Truth that has cleared out the people and patterns that once blurred their vision. Truth that has shown them where they belong and who they are meant to stand beside. The universe has been preparing them. God has been awakening them. Their own spirit has been pushing them. And now that push has become purpose. A purpose that asks for action. A purpose that asks for visibility. A purpose that asks for commitment that can be seen and understood. You may already feel the build-up, the shift in your own energy, the way your intuition has sharpened, the way your emotions catch subtle signals you cannot explain, the way your dreams seem to speak louder than usual. All of this is part of the same alignment. When one soul in a divine connection rises, the other feels the pull. When one soul reaches clarity, the other senses movement approaching. When one soul steps into purpose, the other begins preparing for the change. Your soulmate's public move will be the moment when destiny steps into the physical world. It may show up as an honest message, a heartfelt confession, a request to see you, a decision to break away from old ties, a declaration that others will notice, a choice that cannot be mistaken for anything other than commitment. Whatever form it takes, it will carry a level of clarity you have been waiting for. No mixed signals, no half-truths, no guessing games, just alignment expressed out loud. This move will shift the energy between you. It will reset the connection. It will confirm what your spirit has known all along. It will open the door to a new chapter that is stable, intentional, and purposeful. The season of waiting is transforming into a season of revelation. And revelation always changes what comes next. You are not imagining the feeling that something is close. You are not exaggerating the signs that keep showing up. You are not reading too deeply into the changes happening inside you. You and your soulmate are being prepared at the same time for the same moment. A moment where faith becomes sight. A moment where silence becomes action. A moment where destiny becomes visible. Stay steady. Stay open. Stay grounded in what you know to be true. The connection is rising. The alignment is complete. And the move you have been sensing is getting ready to show itself. If this message touched your spirit, make sure you subscribe to Daily Motivation Prayers so you never miss the next revelation. Your journey is unfolding, and I want to guide you through every step of it.